Greetings, my name is Matt Roscoe from the University of Montana, and I want to talk to you today about how to get started with Desmos Activity Builder. Just for reference, this is me. I'm at the University of Montana in my office right now recording this. It's actually September 2nd, and yeah, just facial recognition, wanted to say hello. So in our previous piece of video for this session, we saw Rebecca's skill as an expert builder of activities using Desmos Activity Builder. But let's suppose that you've been using Desmos for a while now and you've heard about this great new resource called Activity Builder, and you're a teacher and you have limited time and you ask the rhetorical question that all teachers ask, will this be worth my time? Well, one way to answer that question is to try Activity Builder without having to invest a lot of time in creating something. So the way to do that is to use one of Desmos prepackaged activities and experiment with it in a live classroom. See if you like it first before you commit to making your own activities. The advantage of going with one of these prepackaged activities is you don't have to make anything. They're made by experts, so you're learning from experts, and let's face it, the only way to practice teaching with technology is just to do it, to teach with technology. All right, suppose I've convinced you. You want to know how. The place to start looking for activities is at teacher.desmos.com, and rather than just tell you about the process, I'd like to model it for you. Let's assume I'm a middle school teacher looking for a good activity for my students to learn about dot plots, the mean, and the median. So let's go ahead and open up a web page and search at teacher.desmos.com for something on Activity Builder that might fit my needs. So this is what it looks like when you go to teacher.desmos.com. It's a very different looking site than desmos.com. And basically you can see that there are resources, there are tools here if you want to, but of course the thing we're really looking for are activities. There are featured collections here that are sort of organized by topic. So algebra, algebra 2, calculus, distance learning grades 6, 7, and 8, distance learning pre-calculus, elementary grades, and so forth. But of course the search bar works very good, and if you just type in dot plot, you'll get a list of activities that all incorporate some sort of dot plot. The one that I'm going to do today is called Strength in Numbers, and it says in this activity students complete 3 rounds of estimation challenges. After each initial estimate, they view a dot plot of their classmates' responses and decide whether and how to revise their estimates. Common strategies include moving towards the middle, i.e. the median. Sounds pretty good. Let's go take a look. I click on it and it takes me to the page for the activity. It tells you that you can bookmark it if you want, and that will add it to your stuff in your collections. And there is a teacher guide here, but if you scroll down, you'll get to see sort of a view of like how many slides, how many sort of activities or sort of cards are there in the deck here. And you can see that there are 13 different cards in the deck for this particular activity. You can take a look at the student preview, which basically takes you to each page in turn. Looks like the first estimation challenge is the question of how many Cheez-It crackers come in each box. But I found that particularly powerful is just to read the teacher guides if they're available for these activities. So if I load the teacher guide, then I get a very good overview description of the activity. You get a checklist that makes you sort of prepare for the activity. You can use this as a lesson plan and make this your learning targets. And these are teacher pacing and pause class. When would you use pacing, which is the ability to stop people from advancing to another slide, and pause, it freezes everybody's screen. So you have these two really nice tools. Don't go beyond slide 3, pacing, and everybody stop, I want to say something, the pause. So let's take a look at the activity screens. It's the same sort of view you got in the last screen, but if I scroll down more, I get a better idea here what each screen is, how many Cheez-Its. The dot plot shows your class's estimates for the number of Cheez-It crackers. Would you like to revise? Oh, that's really cool. There's some sample student responses. And then in this particular third screen, it looks like you have a video, watch the answer, so we get to see, this is the unveil, and you see the before and after histograms or dot plots of the guesses. The last screen, which seems to be the one that would be really neat to see what students says these dot plots show your classmates' original and final estimates as well as the actual answer. So it looks like the actual answer is in red. How are the dot plots similar? How are they different? And sample student response would be the 2 dot plots are less spread out, they're roughly symmetric. Original dot plot has a few outliers. The 2 dot plots seem to have the same center or the median. So kind of neat. Let's see what the next one is. Penny weight. How much in pounds does $25 in pennies weigh? and then class results. Do you want to revise? Watch the answer. And last thing, take a look at your original and final dot plots. How do they change? I'm convinced now. I really like it. I think it's a good activity. Suppose I want to use it. Well, if you want to use it, then you have to assign it. And there's two ways to assign. You can assign it to your class or get a single session code. I never create classes. I always go to a single session code. I find that I don't use them more often enough to assign it to a class and to create a class. So a single session code is something like this. You have security settings and how long will it be active. But once you, let's say I just want it to be for today, so I make it active for 48 hours, we create an invite code. And then what happens is this is added to my sessions here. You can see that I've used this in the past. And the session has a special 6-digit, I guess, number associated with it. When you go to View Dashboard, that's where you get the sort of teacher view of who's in the session. And it right away pops up this message for students. Hey students, go to this student.desmos.com, type in your 6-digit session ID number, and then they'll be added to the session. And then once they're added to the session, you'll get this view in here that will show you the students here and who's on which slide. And it will allow you to paste things. For example, if I want to paste just screen 1, then it allows me to say, oh, no, all they get to do is screen 1 until I'm satisfied that they've all done screen 1, and then I can move it on to screen 2, and so forth and so on. Okay, got the idea, at least about how it looks when you're choosing. So let me go ahead and minimize this. So what does it look like to watch students complete an activity from the teacher's side? I have a recorded video of my screen and my use of pacing for the first 4 slides in the activity. Actually, it's the first 8. In the interest of time, I've accelerated the timeline of the video, so it's going to go by pretty quick. But I thought it'd be neat for you to see a sped up version of what it's like to use Activity Builder from the teacher's side. And I'm going to try to sort of walk you through what I'm doing and my rationale is for pacing. So here we go. Oops. Start right here and we'll hit play. All right, so just like I said, I've given my students the code and they're now adding in. I can tell they're adding in because the names are appearing over here on the left in the grayed out screen, which I'm going to go to in a bit once I'm satisfied that every student is on. And finally, I usually ask, has everybody got the code? And if I get a yes, then go. Okay, everybody's made their estimates. I can see I'm looking at one estimate. Looks good. Okay, I'm ready to let them go to slide 2. So I'll hit the plus on the orange box there, and okay, now they can go on to slide 2, and you can see 4 students, 3 students are still stuck on 1, 15 students are already working on slide 2. They're looking at the dot plot and revising their estimates. Here's the dot plot and each person's answers. I can see off to the right it's kind of fast, but 7 students have revised, and it looks like 10 students have not revised. And these are the reasons for revising. Yes, I'm going to go with the median 400. Geez, it's our small box. The box is big, plus there's always enough to satisfy my cravings multiple times. This is another thing neat about using Desmos. Students will be comical. It's fun. They're having fun, and you can tell. So then I went ahead and let them watch the video, so you can see now that 18 of them are on the video. One's sort of stuck. Oh, there she went, or he went. And then I let them do the comparison of the 2 histograms once the video was watched. And looks like now all 19 are there. I'm looking at, their comparisons. That's neat. Lots of estimates in the same range, power numbers. What else? Answers seem to be grouped together. Let's see. They're pretty similar, but a lot of people decided to decrease their original estimate. One appears more spread out, whereas the other's clumped. So pretty neat. Seems like they're getting the idea that the variability in the distribution is coming down and people revise towards the center. So then I went on and I let them do the penny one. So how much in pounds does $25 in penny weigh? There's some really big numbers in there. So 14, 2, 250. It's interesting to think about how this one's going to revise. So then I let them see the dot plot, and they're making their revisions now. I can see 20, 22. I had a couple students show up late, so that's why the number is increasing. And you can see that, yes, 4 students revised, but a lot of students didn't. They stuck with it. And then I will let them watch the video and talk about whether or not the sort of the first and the second histogram were different. I'm actually stuck here right now on it's number 6, which is highlighted. I can tell because it's orange right now. So instead of advancing, I left it on 6. I was sort of walking around the class at this point because I felt like they understood the idea and wasn't really at the station at the very end. But you get the idea. This is the way that you can use pacing with Desmos to control sort of the speed at which your class goes through a particular activity. And I hope that helps you get a sense of what using Desmos Activity Builder is like from the teacher side. Well, here's your key takeaways. Desmos is a tool that allows you to explore mathematics dynamically, but it is by nature a single user interface, so how could it be better for a class? And the answer is Desmos Activity Builder. And it takes these tools of Desmos and places them in a classroom-like environment where tasks can be sequenced like cards in a deck and then paced by the instructor. Desmos Activity Builder facilitates the collection and sharing of students' mathematical ideas through their verbal response, overlays of, let's say, plots that they make, or of data that they display. And there's a huge collection of activities, I shouldn't say huge, a large collection of activities available for teachers to choose from. And of course, once you're familiar with it enough, you might set out on the quest to make your own, like Rebecca did. And so that's all I have for you today. I hope that this gives you a good sense of how to get started with Desmos and gives you, I guess, some tools and ideas about what it looks like from the teacher side. And I wish you luck. I hope that you'll use it. And I'm happy to serve as a resource for anybody who has questions about Desmos. I'm easy to get a hold of at the University of Montana. So look me up and fire away with any questions. All right. I wish you luck in your teaching of mathematics. And I look forward to hearing from you in the future.